I'm asking you a question. If my character has no way of knowing it, just tell me. Are hyenas good climbers when it comes to rocky terrain? I'm trying to understand if I go up there, they are they going to be able to follow?
Hyenas are very athletic and used to extremely broken ground. They
That's what I
prefer
thought.
chasing down their prey in formations that may surprise you as being frighteningly similar to a soccer or an American football team. The way they hunt is frighteningly organized in terms of splitting into groups and circling, coming from the side, and stuff like that. They're extraordinarily good at that. To hunt up into the rocks like this is not very hyena. That doesn't
Mhm,
mean they
mhm.
can't jump around up there. They are agile enough to jump from rock to rock, but it's not their
Okay,
preferred hunting situation.
okay.
And
So I'm
guarantee
going to,
anybody who had a position in the heights would be very advantaged against anybody attacking from below. And clearly they found a spot where I described in and noticed that there's no way to get up behind them in that spot. They had found a spot that actually prevented anybody from coming up, a hyena from coming up from behind, and where anyone attacking, they would have the physical advantage. So the humans had positioned themselves as well as you possibly could against hyenas up
yeah.
there.
So I'm going to look toward my Drake friend and say literally. So any big ideas right now?
I think if Athasha's called us, I would just start wriggling up towards the
Yeah,
group of
yeah.
people.
Of
Yeah.
course. Okay.
All
And
right.
yeah. I was gonna say that she would communicate by tugging at
Right.
Farth's trousers, but I just think I don't think she would do that. I feel like she
No,
would
I
just
don't
start
think you
going.
have that kind of dog-like thing. I don't see that either.
Right.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, you would just troop forward and go ahead, limping again. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Limping.
Right.
And go ahead, Farth. Are you going with her?
Yeah, I'm going to say something like, no, I'm going to say, well, something vulgar and say, okay, climb on the rock and go like, fuck this shit, and
Yeah.
make a run for the rocks.
Okay. So there are no hyenas in that immediate area except for the one across the water on that one ledge. But they move around enough, and it's getting a little darker. Maybe that one's not there. Oh, and you also discover, Farth, something that the others know.
Hmm.
Hyenas do belong to the cat group of predators, not the dog group. Their eyes do reflect light. So every
Okay,
so often
okay,
you look over toward those rocks across the water at any given point, and there are two demonic little points of light
nice.
every so often. So therefore, you're going to head up. I'm going to go ahead and just expedite things a little bit. You can't get up that way. You're going to have to go up that little sort of set of ledges um, just
Hmm.
behind the eagle head, if that makes any sense, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then
Yeah.
go around the rock to the base of the stairs. And once you're at that point, then you're within spitting distance, or at least stone throwing distance, of where Ithasha is standing. So therefore, that's what happens. You guys work your way up. Then it's a bit of a startling sight. I mean, Fareth steps forth, and there's this, you know, substantial, very. Uh, as far as Drake's appearance go, they look far more animal reptilian than they look
Hmm.
magical dragon. Right.
Hmm.
Right.
So
Right.
it's still a fantasy creature. It doesn't look like any real life reptile, but it looks more like that. So
Hmm.
anyway, so that's Fareth appears in that. with that, and the man is visibly distressed and is saying, he immediately, addresses Farith and says, again, the similar phrases, but Farith recognizes these. He says, "I am Crixos, and I'm a member of the House of Lothos, and I claim the imperial privilege for myself and my companion Listas of the and he names the name of a town. I haven't made up the name of the town. I should have. And you recognize that that's one of the bigger towns up and it's a town which is based on a lot of ranches, places where animals are herded and horses are being bred. The first really expensive, or the first really dedicated efforts at breeding horses have begun here, when horses were imported from another place in the empire and brought here to crossbreed with the wild horses of the plains. And so that effort has led to a lot of different ranchers and their horse herds. And so this is a town that's associated with those practices.
Does the family name tell me something?
Only if you have a relevant role. Do you have a regional?
No, I have not.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Anyway, so that's the. I'm going to double check something about that. A lot of these skills do have default values for 0 points, but of course the percentage is wretched in each case. But
the percentage is always wretched.
Single digit.
I boosted my weapon smiting. I can't make glass weapons now, but
I noticed that.
I got into the penultimate rank, and now I went from 32% chance to 69.
Right. So that jump is kind of crazy, really. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting point. We'll discuss this later. If we had more time, I would share with you some of my thoughts on the logic of the skills. Not necessarily because that's what they say in the book, because they don't, but because there are certain interpretations that I have to make for it to make sense at all. Give me just a moment. There's got to. I thought I saw these sage skills around here somewhere.
So just wait, Itasha, you are in human form. Oh, she's gone.
Yeah, she is. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. It's good that the Dusters cannot speak in snake form, because it's coherent with the entire mood of, animal-like. But on the other hand, the scene of her crawling up as a snake and rolling up and starting to talk to the two guys would have been something.
Yeah, that would have a certain enjoyment there.
Yeah.
Boy. Okay, well, first of all, I want you... God, where the hell would that even be? This is crazy. I know there's a regional knowledge skill, and I am totally not finding it. So anyway, I'm going to say screw it. I do want you to make I want you to make a law check, which is as a default your intelligence over 10.
Okay, so my intelligence is 61, so I'm going to have to make a very... 0.05. That's...
Farith, I'm impressed.
Yeah, me too. I don't know where I got this.
Well, the important point here is that the law that he's referring to is extremely valid. He is not making it up, and he is not trying to fool you. And in particular, it relates to the town that she's talking about, and really any of the river, like where you are from. It relates to how the empire does have obligations.
Mm-hmm.
That it is, if you are to benefit from the empire, then you are to obey certain civil standards. There are things that are universal, and it's just like the manual, right? To do business with the empire as a member, as opposed to a subject.
Yeah.
Right. And so if this were a conquered land, then the people in it would be subjects, and they would have to obey the empire in specific ways that are very subordinated. But this is not. This is actually a land that is claimed by the empire in a much more friendly way, and the people there are considered, if not citizens, at least beneficiaries. So under those circumstances, there are certain things that if they don't do, it's ipso facto breaking a law. And one of those things pertains to travel. So the person is invoking this law, but it also means that they have to treat whoever it is as fellow, citizens, fellow Imperials. So he actually has been rather, in his standards, he's being rather decent at, including the Dusters as worthy of this kind of interaction. And so to answer your question, it has a great deal to do directly. He's clearly not from the region. And so he is talking as if he has a very specific, relation to that town and to the local powers there. By some standards, he's throwing his weight around, which in American English means, you have to take what he says and like it. But by other standards, he is saying, well, we're all civilized here, right? And including everyone here in this way. So there's some complex cultural communication going on here, and Farith arguably is the single person in this entire setup who is able to appreciate the different directions. And the fact that if you don't take care of this guy and word got out in some way, if you kill them both, it won't. But if there is some kind of negative interaction and it became known, that that it would have implications to people who have no personal stake in the matter, they would feel socially obligated to take action about it. Does that make sense?
Oh, I think you're muted.
Yeah, Lorenzo, I can't hear you.
It sounds.
Sorry. I was saying, yeah, I think this is going to be a big problem if we get back to town and word of this comes out. And even if it doesn't, and knowledge of that we have met these guys becomes relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if we don't do anything, it's going to be need to be a secret.
Do you say this in Duster or do you say it in Common?
No,
I'm just wondering,
in my mind.
what is that guy? What does he talk about? Can you?
Okay, I'm turning to
explain?
Itasha.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking in Duster, and I say, this guy, by the laws of our people, this guy is right. And if we don't oblige him in his request for help and assistance, we are going to be, I don't know if you have this concept, but we may be liable of infringing the law.
Yeah, you have to shift. You have to shift to Common for those words.
Yes, yes. There is probably no,
Yeah,
no.
well, the
But
tribal equivalent all involves religion and blasphemy and a degree of criminality that deserves execution, which isn't what you mean. So,
but I think I got the
Duster
angle I
tribal
want to
law
go
is kind of
for. So
binary.
I can.
Either it's okay or they kill you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right.
So I think
it's
maybe I
liable
found the
business
right
is-
angle.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I turn to Itasha and say, let's say it like that. To these people, if we don't help them, it's a form of blasphemy.
Mm-hmm. Ah.
It's,
Mhm.
it's going to anger their, you know, mm, their society, their gods are going to be angered if we don't help these people.
Itasha's giving you the
This
look.
is not their place.
Right.
Yeah,
Does he
that's what
know
I-
where he
it's like-
is?
Their
I
law
know,
doesn't mean.
but
I
they-
think
The Drake, if you,
I think-
you just spoke in character, and it emerges as a savage hiss.